up, guys? How you doing? It's Brother Micah, and today we're going over Why Jesus Part 9. And for those who are watching for the first time, as always, I want to let you know we have parts 1 through 8 available. We're using Rose's Bible maps, charts, and timelines as we go over why Jesus, tying from Old Testament to the New Testament, how he fulfilled the prophecies that were made of him. Ultimately answering the question, why Jesus? So we're going to start with our first point, which is the king comes to Jerusalem on a donkey. If you go to Zechariah, you're going to find in Zechariah the 9th chapter in verse 9, it reads as following: Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just, and having salvation, lowly, and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass. And I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off. And he shall speak peace unto the heathen, and his dominion shall be from sea even to sea, and from the river even unto the ends of the earth. So we find the prophecy made to Zion that they should rejoice because their king is going to come, and he's going to have salvation. He's going to be lowly, riding on a donkey and the foal of one. And he let it be known that he's going to speak peace unto the heathen, and his dominion is going to be from sea to sea, the rivers, even into the end of the earth. And we know this prophecy was fulfilled by Jesus Christ. When you look in Matthew, the 21st chapter, you can tie these verses in. Matthew 21, starting at verse 1, and we're going to read through 11. It says, And when they drew nigh unto Jerusalem, and were come unto Bethphage, unto the Mount of Olives, then sent Jesus 2 disciples, saying unto them, Go into the village over against you, and straightway you shall find an ass tied, and a colt with her. Loose them, and bring them unto me. And if any man say aught unto you, ye shall say, The Lord have need of them, and straightway he will send them. All this was done, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, Tell ye, daughter of Zion, Behold, thy king cometh unto thee, meek and sitting upon an ass, and the colt the foal of an ass. And the disciples went and did as Jesus commanded them, and brought the ass and the colt, and they put on them their clothes, and they set him thereon. And a very great multitude spread their garments in the way. Others cut down branches from the trees and strawed them in the way. And the multitude that went before and that followed cried, saying, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. And when he was coming to Jerusalem, and all the city was moved, saying, Who is this? The multitude said, This is Jesus, the prophet of Nazareth of Galilee. So we find that the prophecy was fulfilled, and that it was told to Zion that their king was coming meek and lowly, and their king indeed came. All right, so our next point we want to bring out, besides the king coming to Jerusalem on a donkey, meek and lowly, the second point is he would be a stone of stumbling unto the Jews. If you go to Isaiah, the 8th chapter, starting at verse 13, it says, Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling, and for a rock of offense, to both the house of Israel, for a gin, and for a snare unto the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble and fall, and be broken and snared, and be taken. Bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples. And from there, we're going to find in Romans the 9th chapter where these things actually took place. Let me turn there, Romans 9, and we're going to start at verse 31. It says, But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, have not attained to the law of righteousness. Wherefore? Because they sought it not by faith, but as it were the works of the law. For they stumbled at that stumbling stone, as it is written, Behold, I lay in Zion a stumbling stone and a rock of offense, and whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. All right, so we're also going to go to 1 Peter 2, 7 through 8, because that also ties into this prophecy. And you'll see how the word confirms itself. If you go to 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 7 and 8, and it says, Unto you therefore which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner. and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. All right, so we find that he was a stone of stumbling to the Jews in that day that they were unable to receive, and he's still a stone of stumbling to those who can't receive even today. Our third point we want to bring out is upon his coming, the deaf will hear and the blind will see. If you look at Isaiah, the 29th chapter, verse 18, it reads as following. It says, "And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness." It says, "The meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel." So we know that Christ is the Holy One, and that they were going to rejoice. If you look also in Isaiah 35:5, it reads there, "Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped." It says, "Then shall the lame men leap, as the heart and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert." So God was going to do something miraculous, and all of these things were going to take place, and it did when Christ came. If you look at Matthew 11, and we're going to start at verse 5. Matthew 11, verse 5, it says, "The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me." So this was the reply Jesus had when John had sent messengers, John the Baptist, asking, "Art you the one that should come, or do we look for another?" And he replied by letting him know that the prophecies that were told were being fulfilled. I'm going to go to another gospel, just further confirming it. It's Mark 7:37, and it just says, "And were beyond measure astonished, saying, He hath done all things well. He maketh both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak." And we see after reading Mark 7:37, it says that he maketh both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak, and he did all things well. So this brings us to a conclusion, just a short video of Why Jesus Part 9. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and check out the other 8 in the series, and we're going to continue with Why Jesus Part 10 next. Thank you.